Now, elsewhere in the island, United National Party parliamentarian Sajid Premadasa attended an event in Tangor today.
The event was held to donate concessionary loans to 108 women in the Rannakatta-Kaduwa area.
Kondostarala bus viyaduran maatiya gahana nisa.
They say that the SLTB is bankrupt because the conductors and drivers are defrauding money. A system is in place in the country where nets are laid to nab sprats, while traps are not set for bigger fish. They say that the SLTB is going bankrupt because of the conductors and drivers. But no one speaks of the losses incurred when persons brought down buses for high interest rates after obtaining millions in commissions.
Now, still in local news, the Nilgala Forest Reserve is considered to be the herbal garden of the ancient king Buddhadasa. The Forest Reserve is one of the finest herbal gardens located in all of Asia.
As a felling of trees continues to take place at the Nilgala Forest Reserve, despite various efforts undertaken, locals and environmental organizations took a different method to put a stop to the felling of trees.
The 12,000-hectare Nilgala Forest Reserve is bordered by the Badulla, Munragala and Ampara districts. 1,000 trees of the forest reserve are placed under the care of the Mahasangha amidst the participation of locals and around 50 monks. The monks named these 1,000 trees as ones which have been robed, devoid of religion and race. The local gathered today and resorted to this measure with the sole objective of protecting the Nilgala Forest Reserve.
If someone is to cause harm to the trees that have been placed under the care of the Mahasangha, that is sin according to Buddhism. And if someone takes care of these trees, it will be considered as a mark of respect to the monks and the Mahasangha.
Minister Vijay Munisoiza, who hails from the area, commented on the timber racket taking place in the Nilgala Forest Reserve while addressing the Development Committee meeting on the 7th of this month at the Madagama Divisional Secretariat.
It took almost 6 months to fell the Mara tree in the garden of my home. I only plant trees. I don't cut them down. Do not blame me for the felling of trees. The chairman and the members are trying to put the blame on me. If someone can point the finger at me and say that I did it, I am prepared to step down. The law needs to be implemented. We have never obstructed the law from being implemented.
Meanwhile, area residents in Nikapitia know that a timber racket is being carried out in the Nikapitia Forest Reserve. Area residents know that the Nikapitia Forest Reserve, which borders the Badulla and Munragala districts, is a catchment area. They charge that the timber racket is being carried out by a politician in the area together with 2 other officials. They add that the racketeers have felled trees in nearly 9 acres of the reserve, which spans across 35 acres.
In case you just joined us, you're watching Newsfirst Primetime News, and it's now time for the newspaper cartoon of the day.
On Newsfirst tonight, a seminar on microfinance as a tool of empowering the conflict-affected areas was held at the BMICH yesterday.
Yes, this seminar was organized by the Pathfinder Foundation.
The main presentation was presented by Dr. Aryaratna Herath, Senior Lecturer at the University of Peradeniya.
Microfinance is increasingly being recognized as a useful strategy in the recovery process in post-conflict environment. Post-conflict environments are characterized by widespread destruction of physical infrastructure and other support systems, basically financial and trade operations, a severely traumatized and dehumanized civilian population. Post-conflict societies are characterized by high operating cost for microfinance institutions. In post-conflict environments, non-financial services such as training, business development, and social intermediation, therefore, are a must if microfinance were to be successful. The role of microfinance in post-conflict environment is in reconstruction and recovery at community level and household level.
Now, on tonight's Words of Wisdom, we take a look at the thoughts of a martial arts legend, Bruce Lee.
Mistakes are always forgivable if one has the courage to admit them. Bruce Lee, martial artist and actor.
It's now for Action TV.
It has been over 8 months since the director of the Northwestern Province Road Development Authority informed the Katupota Traders Union that a number of business establishments in the Katupota town will have to be removed in order to extend the road from Katupota to Rambava in Kurunagala. The meeting between the Katupota Traders Union and the director was also attended by Senior Minister S. Navinna. The decision to repossess the land was made in accordance with the amended Land Reclamation Act No. 28 of 1964, Article 2 of Paragraph 460. At the time when the Director of the Road Development Authority for the Northwestern Province informed the Katupota Traders Union of the decision that had been taken, a number of letters had been exchanged between the Secretary to the Ministry of Ports and Highways, the Bamunakoto Divisional Secretary, which falls within the Katupota geographical limits, and the Secretary to the Ministry of Land Reclamation. This was done in order to ensure that all reclamation of land would be done in an orderly and just manner. Although senior authorities adopted such an attitude, the Director of the Road Development Authority in the Northwestern Province had informed the traders during the meeting that was attended by S. Navinna that the owners of mortgaged lands will not receive any form of compensation. Taking this into account, a number of traders in Katupota had vacated their business establishments. However, in a letter addressed to the Secretary of the Ministry of Lands, the Secretary of the Ministry of Ports and Highways Development says that the ministry has allocated around 50 million rupees when reclaiming land in question. Another letter by the Secretary of the Ministry of Ports and Highways depicts the process that needs to be followed when seeking compensation. Yet, some businessmen in Katupota are refusing to vacate their mortgage business premises. This is the fate that befell 6 such business establishments at midnight on Monday.
Around 12 midnight, I got a call from a friend that my shop had been demolished, and he did not know why. He wanted me to have a look. When I came here, everything was destroyed. There were 2 police officers there. They informed me that a JCB machine demolished the shops.
On the next day, a complaint was filed at the Katupota police against this act, which can be termed as barbaric. If the police is to accept this complaint and conduct an investigation into this act, the best evidence the police has is the police themselves, because 2 police officers attached to the Katupota police have been deployed in close proximity over a period of time. It is mandatory to conduct an investigation and bring the perpetrators to book, because the good name of the Road Development Authority needs to be protected. The Road Development Authority had given its assurance to the Katupota Traders Union that it was not involved in this act. The business establishments were demolished at a time when the electricity supply to the shops were not disconnected. This could have resulted in a loss of life due to electrocution. Will this act, which took place in the heart of Katupota and close to police posts, also go down as an unsolved crime? Inspector General of Police, this is over to you.
Starting off sports first with some cricket news now. The Pakistani middle order managed to frustrate the Sri Lankan bowling attack on day 4 of the second test encounter against Sri Lanka as they batted throughout the day.
Yes, Pakistan now leads Sri Lanka by 107 runs with 3 wickets in hand as they enter a tense 5th and final day tomorrow.
Pakistan resumed their second innings on an overnight score of 132 for 3 at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium. Yunus Khan and Misbah-ul Haq managed to add 16 runs for the overnight score before Yunus Khan was undone by Surangal Akmal. Asad Shafiq chipped in with 23 runs before being undone by paceman Shaminder Ranga. Misbah-ul Haq, who was on the verge of scoring his 6th century, fell to the bowling of Ranga Neherath for a well-made 97. At stumps on day 4, Pakistan were 330 runs for the loss of 7 wickets, leading Sri Lanka by 107 runs.
On a lighter note, veteran film director Sunithra Piris will release her latest film Vaishnavi in the near future.
Yes, this will incidentally be her 10th film, and Newsfirst Sonali Wanikabaduge caught up with the veteran filmmaker for an insight into the upcoming film.
When we speak of Sri Lankan cinema and the filmmakers that have impacted it, and the women filmmakers that have made a difference, Sumitra Piris is a name that easily comes to one's mind. Good evening, Mrs. Piris.
Good evening.
Thank you very much for welcoming us to your home. These days you are extremely busy with the post-production work of your latest film, Vaishnavi. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Actually, Vaishnavi was a project that started almost a year ago, or a little over a year ago, and it was about the puppet making and the traditional puppet makers and the story around it, and also the chance of using the newest available equipment. This is my 10th film, and it has taken almost 50 years to.
What are the main themes that you speak of in the film?
The main story is about Osanda, who was an orphan, who was brought up as a puppet maker. He goes to see a girl and the girl rejects him, and in that image he makes not quite the same image, but he makes a possible puppet that comes to life, and it is what one would call in modern parlance sort of magic realism.
Well, we wish you all the very best, Mrs. Sumitra Piris, and thank you once again.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of Prime Time News. As always, I'm Madhushka Balasuriya.
I'm Stephanie Lazarus. We leave you tonight with the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Thank you for watching. Good night.
Good night.
At 9. Hotline 0114-896-896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.